Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this week's Cruiserweight Classic review. So, that was the best match of all time, wasn't it, eh? The Ciampa against Gargano. If you've not seen it, then you have missed an absolute treat. An absolute treat. For me, the match of round one. The story, the emotion, the hard, I mean, like, hard, you say hard hitting. I honestly don't know how Johnny's head stayed on his shoulders during some of that. It was beyond brutal. We will get to that match because I've got notes galore, as I always do. But I absolutely loved this week's show. Rich Swann kicked it off. Big Rich Swann fan. I saw a match he had against Finn Balor on NXT, and he really hung with Balor. Outshined him to a degree. And I just knew from that point that there was someone special. So I was so excited when I saw that he was in this competition. He was going up against Jason Lee of Hong Kong, and I can tell you that Jason Lee has really impressed Triple H. Triple H actually singled him out. I can't remember if he singled Jason Lee out on the bracketology or if it was in an interview I saw after that, but I know that Jason Lee, who brings a bit of kind of kung fu into his wrestling style, I know that he's impressed people. So this was a fascinating match, and the crowd were really on board. Jason Lee did not disappoint. He was fast, as they pointed out on commentary. Rich is came out and his music just got everybody going. Can you handle this? Can you handle this? Was in his entrance, and he's coming out, and the crowd are chanting away. Even Izzy was ringside with a "Let's Go Swan" sign. Absolutely brilliant. He really struck me as like a Jamaican Kofi Kingston. And Kofi used to come out and he'd be really pumped and everything. And he'd be a lot of fun, big smile on his face. Just got that vibe from Rich Swann. Huge drop kick near the start of this from Swann, absolutely huge. Enziguri from Lee looked fast and very smooth. Sometimes you can watch and they can be nervous and they're kind of overdoing things, but not Jason Lee. He was hanging with Rich Swann. There was no doubt in my mind that Swann was going to go through because he's already on an NXT contract. It's a good opportunity to highlight him. But yeah, he wasn't in there against somebody that was just throwaway. I was impressed with Jason Lee. Hurricanrana was absolutely huge. A huge Hurricanrana from Rich Swann into a frog splash. Roundhouse kick from Swann, and then the cherry on top. This was a great match, but the cherry on top, a standing 450 splash from Rich Swann. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. You should watch this match. I'm sure you've seen the match. Watch it again. It was brilliant. I am fully on board with Rich Swann, but I really liked Jason Lee as well. Unfortunately, things took a bit of a turn for the worse, and it does pain me to say that because up next we had Noam Dar against Gurv Sahira. Noam Dar just didn't look on point at all, just looked really off the pace. He's the youngest guy in the tournament. He's representing Scotland and via Israel, and Gurv Sahira is the second of the Bollywood Boys. Bollywood Boys, I think I'm right in saying, are the current Global Force Wrestling Tag Champions. So Noam Dar delivers a big drop kick. Lots of unnecessary rolling around on the floor from Noam Dar. Big clubbing forearm from Gurv. Daniel Bryan said that Noam needed to cut out some of the thrills. There was a couple of times where he got caught by doing it, just with a few strikes and kicks and things. Enziguri into a fisherman suplex, into a knee bar. Dar wins. The best part, the end was the best part of this match. It plodded. I'm sorry, but it plodded. And actually, Gurv at times looked better than Noam Dar. Crowd really quiet during this match. Really quiet. There was just nothing that was bringing them in. And yeah, this was a real shame. Noam's got a chance, obviously, to prove he's better than what we've seen in this match, but I was disappointed. Noam Dar goes forward to face Ho Ho Loon now in the second round. Next, we had, again, an absolute treat. Jack Gallagher against Fabian Eichner from Italy. Jack Gallagher from Manchester in England. Big size difference. Fabian much bigger. I think they said 40 pounds in difference, which is a lot when the limit is 205. Great reversals from Gallagher and Fabian Eichner. Fabian Eichner didn't bring what I was expecting. I was expecting a big, kind of slow, cumbersome kind of guy that was just going to use his power. He was flipping up, and there was that double springboard as well that he delivered. Springboard moonsault from Fabian Eichner. Wonderful reversals, as we said. There was no pace to this. It was literally at the start Jack Gallagher just trying to find his best way out of like the moves that the submission holds. I think it was an armbar, and he manages to do this reversal. It's just like, wow. It's really escapology at its best. There was a snapmare from Eichner. There was a springboard kick from Eichner. A 2-count backbreaker from Eichner. It was, Eichner got in the big moves, but Gallagher was the one that impressed with the reversals and getting out and the intricacy. Eichner was incredible, and when the match finished, there was thank you both chants to both of them, and I absolutely agree. I've put down here, I didn't want either to lose. I really didn't want either of these guys to lose. It's such a shame that they both had to compete in the first round, because both guys deserved a second match. Sit-up powerbomb for a 2, missed frog splash from Eichner, and a vicious drop kick for the win from Jack Gallagher. It's weird because that shouldn't really have been how Gallagher won. It was a fantastic drop kick. He drop kicks him right into the corner. It was pretty brutal, but for someone like Gallagher, he should have won with a reversal into a submission hold, and it would have felt more natural that way. Beating someone that's 40 pounds bigger than you with a drop kick was just I didn't buy it. But I loved the match. It doesn't take anything away from the match. I loved it. Gallagher now goes forward to face Tozawa, and you'd have to think Tozawa's going to win that. But Gallagher's doing himself nothing but massive favours in putting on great performances. If you want to talk about great performances, that brought us to the main event. Main event being one of the best matches I've seen this year. Not just in the CWC, I mean just ever. Like, I fully expect this match to be in my top 10 come the end of the year matches. I honestly, I loved it. Gargano entrance wasn't the same as his normal music, which I thought was really weird. Reluctant handshake amongst the two. They did a great job of really saying, look, yeah, we're a tag team, but we're putting that to one side. And, we both want to get through. Fast pace, armbar to start. And I've really noticed this. Like, the armbar, there's a bit of a scuffle, and then someone puts on the armbar. Do you remember back in the day, it used to be like a test of strength, and that used to kick off a match? Or there'd be a collar and elbow tie-up, and that would kick off matches. Now there tends to be collar and elbow tie-ups or takedowns or something into an armbar very, very quickly now. Do I find a lot of matches go straight into armbars? Elbow, like back elbow from Ciampa into Johnny Gargano. Like, Gargano spitting out spit, bloody teeth, everything I should imagine came out of his mouth. That was vicious. This was hard hitting. This is one of the most hard hitting matches I've seen. Like, this was strong style. It was wonderful. Wonderful. Knee to the head from Ciampa, slingshot DDT from Johnny, kick to the head into a powerbomb, into a suicide dive from Johnny. This thing was just full of energy. Another kick to the head from a dive. Johnny comes through the ropes And as he's coming through the ropes, Gargano like kick to the head. Johnny's down. It's just like Johnny doesn't know who he is. There's times where his eyes look like properly, legitimately glazed over. The kicks and the sound of the kicks and the sound of the strikes. It's one of those matches you just you revel in it. You take it in, but for the sake of the competitors, they could do this once a year. They really can't do this on a weekly basis. That's what makes this match so special. I don't think I've seen a match as hard hitting as this year. I really don't. I mean, I have to go back to that Kota Ibushi kick from NXT last week. That was probably the hardest strike I've seen, maybe ever. But this was wonderful. This was wonderful. That drop on the ring apron as well looked absolutely vicious. Ciampa was going to hit his knee, but you want to get involved, Finney? So yeah, Ciampa was going to hit his knee. He'd pull down the his knee brace and everything, his knee pad, I should say. But he decides against it, pulls it back up. That hesitation is kind of what costs him the match. He ends up hitting a power bomb onto double knees. He only gets the 2 count. So even if he had hit that kind of running knee, you would think that he probably still would have only picked up a 2 count. But there was just that for me was the pinnacle of the match. It's where he has hit that double knee, gets the 2 count, and then he scurries off in shock. The crowd are up on their feet, and it's just fight forever chance. Gargano eyes glazed over, as we said. Muro Ranillo asking, how long will the ref allow this match to go on for? Surely he's got to call it. Surely Johnny can't go on. 10-minute mark had been hit. And I've got to be honest, at that point I thought, I don't see how they're going to do it, but this is going to go for a draw. And that's the perfect way out. That's the perfect way. No other first round match has gone for a draw, reached the time limit. But the pace and the hard-hitting action they got to the 10-minute mark, and it wasn't long after that it finishes. Had that match gone another 10 minutes and matched what it had matched in the first 10 minutes, you're talking about an all-time classic. You're talking about an all-time classic because it had everything. But as I said, unfortunately, it doesn't go on for much longer. Johnny gets a rolling crucifix and picks up the win. Then you get really what put the cherry on top of it all for me, and that was afterwards, because there was a refused handshake between the two of them, and I was really invested in this match. I was sat there worried about, what's this going to mean for the tag team? Which I look back on now and think, well, that's stupid, because they're clearly going to have a match against the Revival at NXT Takeover. But I was just I was so into the match. They'd really drawn me in that much. But Gargano goes back in. He doesn't shake Johnny's hand. He sits down next to him, puts his arm around his shoulder, and it's like two soldiers had been to war and they were consoling each other. It was absolutely wonderful. It was the moment of the tournament. It gave the tournament much needed heart, because you've got a load of people that don't really know each other and haven't really fought on this kind of a stage before, and we're all still getting to know all the competitors. It just gave the tournament that kick. It was wonderful. I know I've said it. I honestly can't come up with any other words. It was wonderful. So next week we get Tajiri against Gran Metali. I love Gran Metali. I just don't know who wins that. And then Cedric Alexander against Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi's got to win that. And only 2 matches, not 4. 2 matches next week. So you think they're going to give him some time. I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to build up the backstories, or how they're going to do it. But only 2 matches next week. Ooh, so is that it from now on? We just get 2 matches a week. Feels like they're going to struggle to fill an hour with that, because even if you have the 2 matches go for the 20-minute time limit, that's 40 minutes. They're still going to need to find another 10 minutes with adverts. So I don't know, we'll have to see. I just thought that was interesting. Cool. Thanks a lot for watching. Really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like. If you haven't subscribed, it'd be wicked if you could subscribe as well. And I think that was everything. Don't forget you can follow me Twitter and Facebook at Wrestling Days UK, and cannot wait to see you again next week. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.